Hello there and happy Friday. My name is Julie Hirschberg, the owner, founder of Reactive Therapy and Wellness in the Los Angeles area, and joining you today from our Torrance clinic because I really wanted to demonstrate something today. So today we're talking about the autonomic nervous system. You know that this has been an area we've been pretty obsessed with as physical and occupational therapists. We've been talking about it a lot in our videos. We've been learning a lot. And we've been trying out new gadgets to measure it and treat it. So I'm going to show you one of those today. But I got to give a little background first, like why the autonomic nervous system? Why do we want to measure it and how can we measure it? Particularly with heart rate variability, and show you what we've been trying with this heart rate variability biofeedback that we've been loving. And I'm wearing it now so I can show you how it works and how we've been using it, particularly in functional neurologic disorders. So let's just talk briefly, because we've talked about it before, but why the autonomic nervous system? Why do we need to look at this in neurologic disorders? So first, it might be the disorder, right? So here at Reactive, we work with a lot of people with autonomic disorders. So like POTS, for example. So then, of course, we do need to track it and measure it. But a lot of times, the autonomic nervous system has a heavy influence on the neurologic disorder a lot. So we see this in Parkinson's disease. We see it in multiple sclerosis. We see it in ataxia. We talked a little bit about that last week. We see it in pain. We see a heavy influence in functional neurologic disorders. We see a heavy influence in dizziness and 3PD. So a big part of this is the anatomy. There's so much overlap in the connectivity between the autonomic nervous system and other pieces of the nervous system. So it's interconnected. One influences the other very strongly. And so if we're not testing it, I would argue we're missing a big piece of the puzzle. So let's talk then about how we look at it and how we might measure it. And there are loads of different ways. We've talked about many of these. Sometimes we can just hear it in the history, from visual symptoms to feelings of danger and fear and being on edge, to pupil sizes, and heart rate variability is one of those ways. And we've been looking into this a lot at Reactive, how we measure it and how we can influence it. And let me just kind of give you the briefest intro to it, because there's a lot when it comes to the physiology of heart rate variability. And honestly, I'm not an expert on it. But heart rate variability is exactly what it sounds like. It's a measure of the variation in the heart rate, heartbeat, and it's the variation in time between heartbeats. And we look at this because it is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. And so this is measures in several different ways, but the gold standard is to use an EKG. That's not something that most therapists have. That's something that you would do in a cardiologist office, and certainly cardiologists will be measuring autonomic dysfunction. But we like to have an easy way to do it here. Now, there's loads of monitors that can do this. So I even have it on my Apple Watch. There's other commercially available devices, and people use this a lot themselves because it's a measure of their health. But at Reactive, and in particularly in neurologic rehab, we wanted a way to see what things that we might be doing within therapy have an immediate results, immediate impact on that heart rate variability and heart rate, and do it in a very accurate way. So when I started researching this and talking to colleagues, I've been trying out tons of different monitors, and the current one that I'm really interested in, and I trialed for about 8 weeks myself, and now we've been using it in the clinic. This one is made by Lief, L-I-E-F Therapeutics. By the way, we're not associated with this company at all. I just found them by researching heart rate variability and monitoring and biofeedback. That's the difference with this device. And now that we've been using it in the clinic more, we've been really blown away with how effective it is. So I want to show it to you and tell you about how we've been using it and how powerful it's been in neurologic disorders, because I think this is something that if you have a functional neurologic disorder or dizziness, 3PD, MS, Parkinson's, and notice the autonomic influence on your symptoms, this could be a really great tool to use. So I want to show you first, it's a portable EKG. So let me back up here. It goes directly on the skin. So right away, that is one of the pieces that can be a con for this is if you get skin irritability with the electrodes, you might not be able to tolerate it. And I will say, when I was wearing it every day for 8 weeks, my skin got irritated. So it healed and it was fine, but that's something to take note of. So you put the device on. It connects to an app, so it's through Bluetooth. By the way, when they send it to you, you get a whole bag of electrodes. So at our clinic, we have one device with different electrodes for everybody to use. And the device is really small. It's easily wiped down and clean. And it has a little portable charger as well. So then it goes on to, let's see if I can get that. There we go. It goes on to an app, the Leap app. It connects via Bluetooth, and we get an instantaneous, okay, there you go. You can see I'm a little excited. So you can see my heart rate is kind of high. It was at 85, 90. You get instantaneous and very accurate heart rate and heart rate variability measurements. So that's awesome. Just from the reading, that's great. We can get that. It's really nice. We've been using this for like our Buffalo concussion treadmill tests. Really nice, clear, easy readings of heart rates and heart rate variability with that. So if that was it, that would be great, but that is not it. And this is really why I've liked this and have liked it in the clinic. It also then is set up, you set up the parameters, and if that heart rate variability gets in a low zone and you set that, it actually does it by colors. Right now I'm in the blue, that's pretty good. But if it went into the yellow or red, it will actually give me some biofeedback and take me through some paced, slow breaths to increase my heart rate variability. So when I use this for 8 weeks, I would be maybe in the midst of like working on a project and super focused and a little bit stressed, and this would start vibrating, and that vibrating would alert me like, hey, let's go through some breaths. It would vibrate for an exhale, and then you would inhale. It would vibrate for an exhale, and so on. So that's the biofeedback part. So what I love about that is it brings an awareness, and for me, I might not have been aware of maybe some tension I was holding in my body, or even that I was maybe even holding my breath or stress. And this basically alerts me through a gentle vibration and takes me through a breathing. And I felt a lot of regulation from that practice. So I want to show you how it does that. So right now it's not doing that for me because my heart rate variability for me is great. So I might then hit on the train button, and with the train button, you can pick how you want to do training. I'll just do a minute of training. They have different types of training. I really loved the paced breathing. So the way that it does it is actually paces it with your heart rate to give a resonant breath. Um, so what you'll see is it'll give an inhale and hold, and then exhale, and it actually vibrates to take you through that exhale. Now, I'm going to stop talking so I can do the practice for a moment and you can watch the heart rate variability and heart rate. So I will inhale. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it on the exhale, it's vibrating to cue me for the length of the exhale. It's also very visual here. So I don't know if you noticed that, but for me, and then it gives you a summary of what you just did. But for me, what happens is as I inhale, my heart rate goes up, my heart rate variability goes down. That is normal. That's a little more sympathetic when you inhale. When I exhale, my heart rate variability goes up, my heart rate goes down. And I can see it visually here. I see the shape of the heart rhythm change as well. So I love all of that visual biofeedback. I get the sensory biofeedback for the exhale as well. And then what is really powerful, you can start to see these little lines here on the side. So those lines will then show me where I am, what zones I am throughout the day, and I can track. There's a monitor. I can even track my emotions at that time and really start to tune in to my autonomic nervous system. So let me just tell you a quick story. Chelsea's been using this a ton this week with people. Two things that she found. One I shared last week is somebody with ataxia. She put this on, and with that extended exhale and biofeedback, his ataxia greatly improved. We've also been using it with people with functional neurologic disorders and having that feedback when they might be experiencing symptoms, and we'll see those symptoms start to change again because we're getting some autonomic regulation. So again, I'm not doing a commercial for a device, but this has really been a great addition to our practice, to how we work with people and give feedback on their heart rate variability and heart rate, but essentially their autonomic control. And then what's nice is people can get this themselves and then do it at home. So they don't need us, but we can kind of test it out here, which has been great. So that is really what we've been doing this week, what we've been learning, all about the autonomic nervous system, how much it influences neurologic disorders. Measuring heart rate variability with with a portable EKG is one way to measure the autonomic nervous system activity. And then using a great system of biofeedback to then tune in and help somebody regulate their autonomic nervous system. It's been a game changer for us. I would love to hear what other people are using to measure the autonomic nervous system, to incorporate it into treatment too. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you about that. And I'll post a link to the Leaf Therapeutics, to the app and the company as well. And again, we're not affiliated with them. We've just been liking it a lot. And if you want to continue to learn more with us, we hop in here every Friday, and every Friday I'll send out a newsletter with all the videos that we've done for the week, research articles that are related to those that we've been learning from, and other great resources. That's just because we love learning and we love sharing, particularly about these things that we didn't learn in school, and they have a big impact on a lot of the people that we work with. So join our newsletter for a fresh dose of inspiration, some hope in rare and complex cases, and all of the stuff that we're learning. So I hope to see you on there, and thanks again for joining me today.